They Might Be Giants?
Okay, I have a funny...
Hi.
I have a funny story about
Oh, I figured it out. No, we didn't. Is it that?
It's so loud.
It's so loud.
Kathleen, you were saying?
I have a funny story about They Might Be Giants.
Uh-huh.
Please.
The Johns?
Yeah.
Just gonna scoot back
So-
here for a second.
What's the album of theirs with the squid on it? The internet will know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
On the cover.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Okay, so
No. Damn it.
back in the day,
Yeah.
an artifact went around my group of friends. It was called, in somewhat hushed tones, the comedy tape. And it contained a bunch
Really
of jokey
reaching.
music and that some older kid had put together. It had been passed down through generations. Or maybe not generations, but it had been passed down through many people. And the cover had gone. So nobody knew,
mic's still
Apollo
live.
18. Thank you.
Hot.
That's a hot mic there, Corey.
They know it's hot.
okay.
They're trying to make it not feedback.
So the comedy tape, the comedy tape, the thing that told you what was on the tape had been lost to the ages. It came from another high school and was delivered onto ours, and was passed around in cars and trucks while teenagers were doing things that we'll describe are not legal. Were not legal then, but are legal now. We'll put it that way.
Very discreet.
Yeah, it was a discreet way of describing my high school activities, we'll say.
Just cranking your hog.
Listening to R-rated music.
Right.
Listening to parental advisory things because anyhow. So anyhow, we didn't know what was on this tape, and for years, and after a while, we figured out some of the stuff that was on there, like "Pepper" by the Butthole Surfers was on there, stuff like that, just sort of goofy music.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Keep telling your story.
That's okay. Goofy music. Yes, gay marriage. That's what we were up to. But it was goofy music in general. And I never knew what was on this tape. And it turns out, I was many years later. I was chatting with Molly Lewis online, and she's just like, "Have you heard any They Might Be Giants?" And I'm like, not really. She's like, "I love this band." And I was like, "Well, if you love it, that's a good enough reason for me to listen to it. You've got great taste in music."
Team Order, very nice.
Very nice. And so she's like, "All right, listen to this album." And I start listening to it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is the comedy tape." It turns out the comedy tape was like 90% They Might Be Giants, Apollo 18, with a few other songs mixed in. So like something like, more than 15, 20 years later, Molly Lewis solved the mystery of my high school mixtape.
Yeah.
Thank you, Molly Lewis, who is probably a much better child in high school than I was, with all my gay marriage.
So,
Yeah.
They Might Be Giants.
They Might Be Giants.
Yeah, what else do you say there?
You didn't actually give render any opinion on them.
Oh, I like them.
Okay, good. Great, thank you.
Why would I have been telling that story if I was like, and then at the end I figured out that they huffed butt. They were like, this was the auditory equivalent of listening to a fart.
So, just